Hello, everybody. This is Dottie Berry, aka Coach B, coming to you from Blaine, Washington. And I'm excited tonight because with my Gold Nuggets PLS hangout tonight, I've got one of our what we call our newbies on with me as a guest. And I always love that because I remind people that everybody starts in the same position, which means that none of us knew anything about internet marketing when we began. So again, my name is Dottie Berry, aka Coach B. I am a consultant, a coach, a trainer, and a speaker, okay? And I love doing that all over the world. I'm really excited because I'm going to be going to Greece to speak in the fall. Hey, Barry, do you think that would be a lot of fun to do that?
To go to Greece?
Yeah.
I think anywhere right now would be great. It's so cold here in Delaware.
Oh my
Anywhere.
goodness. That is too funny. You know, I'm going to just kind of introduce you real quick. I want to just pop you up there while I do. This is Barry Tuck, and he is our newbie, okay? So everybody in the chat box down there say, hello, Barry, we're glad to have you, you know, and so forth like that. But I wanted you to see his tagline real quick before I keep talking about him, okay? And I'm going to come back on me for a second, Barry. But that's Barry, and he is tagged himself as the millennial online marketer. So we're going to talk about that a little bit about branding because that's what we're really talking about. I mean, I find that so many newbies are scared to death to think about talking with somebody because all that goes through their mind is, what do I say to these people? I don't know anything right now. And what I'm doing and working with Barry is to show him, Barry, you know more than you think you know. And if you want learn just one little thing, that's going to help you know one little thing more than another person doesn't. And we're going to use this example about his branding to share with you how he could actually help somebody now. But I'm going to give you an example of what happened with me first. Let's see, it was 7 years ago when I started my online marketing career, and I was just like you. I didn't know anything, and I'll tell you the truth. I felt so confused and overwhelmed. You all have heard me say this before, but if you're not willing to cry at your computer, whether you're a male or a female, then you don't have any business in being in online marketing because if you've not felt overwhelmed sitting at your computer, all I can say is you're not studying enough. You haven't run into enough things that'll trip you up because if you just dive in, you are going to come up against some walls. And how do you get past that? Well, I had to get past it. Barry has to get past it. Any of you who are new have to get past it. So in the chat box down there, I want you to put whether you're a newbie, whether you've got a little bit of expertise in your opinion, if you're a veteran, and if you're a veteran, put in there and let people know that you too felt overwhelmed because I think people just don't understand. They look at us and they think, oh, I could never do this. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. I want you to always look at Dottie Berry getting ready to turn 62 years old and think it, if that woman can do it, so can I. That's what you need to be thinking. But let me give you this story real quick before I get back to you, Barry. And I want you to think about this as I'm sharing, Barry, about this because it's one I haven't shared with you yet. But early on, I guess it was, well, let me just say this. My Lead System Pro was where I first cut my teeth, Now, I'm not involved in that community now, but it's a great community. It just wasn't, in the culture that I was looking for. I was a little bit older than all those folks, but it just wasn't the right fit for me. But I really appreciated that I sort of cut my teeth on that and learned some good things. But while I was doing that, a gentleman introduced me to phone broadcasting, and I was learning. I mean, did I feel overwhelmed? Oh, my goodness. I just felt I don't even know what to do, write scripts and this and that. And, here I was doing phone broadcasting, but guess what? I was able to help a gentleman one time, and that gentleman went on. Now, he was very, very, let me back up a little bit. This gentleman was from New York, and, of course, hearing my southern accent, that probably was a challenge for him, but just a great guy. But he was already very successful in network marketing. But he knew zero, zippo, nothing about online marketing, nothing about phone broadcasting. Dottie Berry is the one that taught him. And you know how much I knew at the time? About that much. But here's the thing. I had already started learning phone broadcasting, and I knew about it, and I was in my Lead System Pro. I introduced him first. I met him through phone broadcasting. He answered one of my broadcasts. I got him on phone broadcasting, and from there, I brought him into MLSP. He's still going great guns there. It was a good home for him. And he brands himself today as a top internet marketer. And you know what? He is. But he wasn't when I met him. And I wasn't a top internet marketer either. I wasn't even a top phone broadcaster. But I knew more than he did. So this is a great lesson, Barry, to take away is, and for anybody else listening, you just have to know one more thing than somebody else. What is it you know? Do you know how to use Aweber? Do you know how to brand yourself or begin that process? One of the reasons that I started working on Google Hangouts over 2 years ago is I realized nobody knew how to do them. No kidding. I got on with somebody who introduced me to a company that was supposed to be about Google Hangouts, and I said, well, how do you do one? She said, well, I don't know. I said, well, what do you mean you don't know? And she was kind of like, well, we're just offering this, but I don't know how to run them yet. Well, I said, well, for goodness sakes, let's get on one and learn how to do it. I don't like offering anything I don't know how to do. And so that's how I began learning about Hangouts. And what I realized was nobody else really knows what they're doing. And guess what? There are tons of people that don't know what they're doing right now about doing this part that I'm doing, setting them up. So if you learn how to do that, go back to some of my trainings. If you learn how to do that, guess what? You can show others how to do that. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to do that. So enough said on that story. Barry, do you like that one? Is that pretty interesting?
Oh, yes, that's helped a lot. That's part of the conversations that you and I have had before. I feel like I don't know anything. And what was it, just about 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday, was it, or a Wednesday, we were talking while you were in sunny Florida. We were trying to come up with a tagline, what are you known for? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm known for. And you helped me come up with a banner and a tagline. And, I think the millennial part, worked a lot. When you first mentioned millennial online trainer, I was like, when you say trainer, it makes it look like
you remember that, Barry? You said, what's a millennial?
Yeah, what's a millennial?
So, Barry, share with people what a millennial is.
Millennial is basically a generation that anyone that's born between the 1980s and the 1990s. So it's around your 20s to 30s-year-old age group. And that really applies to me because that is my warm market mostly. Who do I spend a lot of my time around? 20 to 30-year-old people. So when I can look at them, a lot of them have gone to college and graduated and are now bartending at Applebee's and not finding the jobs that they wanted in their career field. Well, network marketing can apply to them. They can start earning the income that that they went to school for. Maybe not in their career field, but it's still a whole lot more than what they're doing now. So it's neat that Dottie has helped point out a lot of the skills that I actually have in my tool bag that I was too hard on myself. I didn't know that I knew all of this stuff, in the beginning. So, talking with a coach like Dottie, she really helps bring out, all the skills that you own, you didn't think you possessed. So,
yeah, well, thank you. And, so here's what happened. I mean, we were like brainstorming. That's what we were doing. He says, I don't know how I could brand. I mean, think about it. If you're a stay-at-home dad, you could brand yourself as a stay-at-home dad online marketer, or whatever it is that you do. Let's say you're into health and wellness. You could brand yourself as an online marketer for health and wellness. Because here's the deal, and this is what I wanted Barry to understand. Even in network marketing, okay, nobody is just looking for a product or a service. They may like your product or service. They might buy your product or service, but they're looking for a leader. And everybody can be a leader. You've heard me say this many times. I'm going to repeat it because there may be some people here that are guests. And oh my goodness, let me just say this. For those of you who are guests, I was getting so excited about Barry being on tonight. For those of you who are guests, please, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Because what we do is we ask people in Power Lead System to invite people, to let them see the type of training we're having. Now, let me say this. Normally, we're going in the back office of Power Lead System, and we're showing you how to set up a funnel or, use a specific piece of the system. But this that we're talking about tonight, this is an extremely important piece of the system, okay? And that is your branding. And I tell everybody, I don't care if you're an offline marketer, an online marketer, if you're in network marketing, if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're not in any of those but own your own business, it's all about branding yourself, okay? That doesn't mean, now don't mistake that for being it all about you, okay? We talked about that last week. The most important thing you can come to understand is how to speak the language of your customer, your client. But it is important in branding for what you're known for in some respect. And if you become branded to a particular, say, network marketing company, direct sales company, what if you don't stay with them? I mean, let's just say offline. Do you really think that people who are with IBM or Microsoft brand themselves as Microsoft or IBM or Apple or something? No, they're who they are. They increase their skill set while they're at IBM. So if they get recruited by Microsoft, they don't have IBM attached to themselves. They have their name, their brand, who they are. Maybe they're in management, whatever they do. So again, this goes back to just branding yourself is extremely important. So having a system that enables you to do that is very important. What do I mean by that? Well, Power Lead System enables you to set up funnels so that you can build a list. It's the number one thing you've got to do. If you're going to find somebody to marry, don't you have to sort of recruit a lot of people in? I mean, everybody you date, you don't marry, okay? So you're looking for something special here when you build your list. And then you want to communicate with them. I said before, if you were to get married and you never talked to the person you married, well, then you'd probably find yourself divorced, and you might not even know you're divorced because you weren't talking to the person. So you've got to pay attention to that list. And then as they come to know, trust, and like you, just like with offline relationships, they will begin to listen to what you share. And if you share that you're doing something important or you're going to recommend an online tool that you're using and having success with, they will trust you. So again, this goes back to the branding. But what I asked Barry when he felt like, wow, I don't know how I would brand myself, I asked him what age he was. And so then just to confirm, I very quickly went in Google, put that in, and, what does this age represent? It said millennial. And I thought that's what it came in, but, there's Generation X, Generation Y, all these different ones. So you could be an online marketer for Generation X or whatever the deal is. So the bottom line is, Barry said, well, remember what you said, Barry, even when I told you that? You said, well, it was kind of like, now what, right? Is that how you felt?
Yeah, it's like, cool, I've got this nice tagline here at the bottom of my Google Hangout, but where do I go from here?
Yeah. Well, what I started doing was I said, okay, Barry, let me help you out a little bit. That's what a coach does, right? I mean, so I went quickly and I Googled some articles on millennials. Now, I didn't sit there with Barry and read the articles, did I, Barry?
No, ma'am, you did not.
And you probably ran across some videos, too. I didn't sit there and watch videos with Barry. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because it's the same way I treat my business here. When people come into Power Lead System, I say, look, I'll work just as hard as you, but I'm not going to work harder than you. And if they call me up and say, hey, Coach Barry, could you help me put together a lead capture page? The first thing I'm going to say is, did you watch your video? And if they say no, I'm going to say, I don't sit and watch videos with people. That's not a good use of my time. Go back, watch the video, write down your questions, and then come back and ask me. And you know what? At the time, they don't call me back about that one. Now, they might call me about something else, but my question is going to be the same. So the point is, I gave Barry some links. I mean, I gave him multiple links. We were chatting on Facebook, and I'm going, here's one, here's one, here's one. Now, Could I go over to the East Coast to Delaware and sit down with Barry and say, Barry, did you go through your homework? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm looking for people who want to learn to be leaders. Leaders aren't people who you have to babysit, okay? If you want a babysitter, you know, somebody's got to hire that. But I'm not going to babysit people. But if I see the kind of tenaciousness and the kind of drive that Barry has, oh my goodness, I'm going to help him every moment I can, because he's going to utilize this. Now, Barry, let me go back to about the millennials. What have you learned about millennials more than you just shared with us?
Well, if you Google millennials, you'll see a lot of articles and a lot of opinions. A lot of people, claim to be that the millennials are they have a lot of negative reviews on millennials, as if they're lazy or slothful or staying at home with their parents. And I believe I was reading an article, I think it was a study done by Harvard or one of the colleges, and it was saying that millennials a lot of them are staying at home with their mothers, mother and fathers, and a lot of them aren't leaving the house either. They're going to college and then moving back in. Millennials are they're judged harshly. They really are. As it's like a blanket statement when they say that they're lazy or slothful, or the economy. You got a bunch of them. But it said, I read something here. I made a little notes that it started in about 2003, between 2003 to 2015. That's when a large percent of the millennials started moving back in with their parents, which I found was very interesting. When I moved out of home, I haven't been back. Actually, moved states away, but there's a wide variety of information on millennials. I mean, type it in on YouTube. There's a bunch of videos and even like news clips on millennials.
Yeah, and Barry, you make some good points. And here's what I want people to think about. First of all, if you're a millennial, put it in the chat box down there. Or if you have kids that are millennials, put whether they're living with you or not. And so here's the thing. Some of the broad brush statements are just never true, okay? Because for one thing, I'll tell you what, Barry is not lazy, and he's a millennial. And I'll also tell you that I know some millennials who are living at their parents' home, and they're not lazy either. They just happen to be living there because they've not been able to get a job right out of college. It's really different today. When I was coming out of school, of course, I got a degree so that I could teach school. And I actually went back to the high school I graduated from, and I was the head coach of the varsity team the day I walked in. I actually graduated in 3 years from college. I'm not saying it was because I was overly bright. I found out that I could take more credits for the same amount of money, and I've always loved a deal. And, we had 3 kids in college, so it just made sense to me to leverage. I guess that's where I got my first idea about what it is to leverage, Barry, kind of like you do when you're in network marketing or something. You're leveraging together, to create something. So I learned leveraging very early. So I got out in 3 years. I started my master's program the same year I started teaching. But, people, if they went to college, my goodness, they could get out and get a job. And it's just not necessarily that way today. Now, what does that tell you, though, Barry, when there's people that aren't being able to get jobs? Do you see, wait a minute, I'm going to do like this right now. I smell opportunity. How about you, Barry?
Definitely opportunity. When you're able to share with somebody a need, this is a great opportunity in businesses. When you have something that can fill someone else's need, then you're in the right position. And like I said, there's a great demand for millennials, 18 through 30, but even beyond. But definitely opportunity is all around you with that.
And when Barry's branding in this way, it doesn't mean he can't work with anybody who's not a millennial. But see, here's the biggest mistake people make. You ask them what they do, and it's like they're everything for everybody. That's ridiculous. Even in my coaching, people come to me And I interview them first. I say, look, I got to tell you, I'm not the coach for everybody. I mean, let's face it, right now, Tuesday night, I offer these trainings because Neil Guest asked me to, the owner of PLS, okay, and Michael Price. And they said, would you open these up to everybody? And I said, sure. But when people come to me privately, they pay me. But I don't take everybody that comes to me. And the reason is I'm not the coach for everybody. Because if they say, this is what I want to do, I'm going to hold them accountable. Some people don't really want accountability in coaching. And you know what? If they tell me this is what they want, I'm going to stay on them. It may be called tough love, but I'm going to help them get to where they want to get. So I say to them, look, if you want to get somewhere and you really want to work with a coach that'll help you, I'm your gal. But if that's not really what you want, I'll drive you crazy. So see, Barry, it's important that you begin to identify a niche, because that way you can focus better. Now, let me say this. Barry is using a smart way to go, and that is because PLS is what I call the picks and shovels, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, think about it during the gold rush. During the gold rush, there were a lot of people that became very, very wealthy mining gold, panning for gold. And there's a lot of people that didn't make anything. I'm going to tell you somebody that made money hand over fist, and that was the people who had the picks and shovels for sale. They made money whether you panned for gold and made money or not. Same way in what I'm sharing here. We have a pick and shovel for somebody who has an online or offline business, whether a realtor, car dealer, restaurant owner, whether affiliate marketer, online marketer, network marketer, direct sales, doesn't matter. We got the picks and shovels, right, Barry? Would you agree?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So we've got the picks and shovels. Barry is using that. It just so happens he has a network marketing company that he's a part of. So he's creating his picks and shovel for his network marketing company. Now, Barry, let me ask you this. Has everybody you come across joined you in your network marketing company?
No, ma'am. They have not.
They have not. That's just the truth of it. I mean, it's sort of like this. If I go in downtown Bellingham and I'm interested in going in to ski up on Mount Baker or into Canada, and I go running down the streets of Bellingham and ask 15-year-old skateboarders if they want to go skiing, first of all, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy. I could even say, look, I've got ski tickets. You can ski all day with me. And they might say, well, I don't have skis. I've got a skateboard. Oh, that's okay. I'll rent them for you. I mean, they're just not interested. They're just not that into you. We have to realize that sometime. But, Barry, here's the question. If you run into somebody who already has a network marketing opportunity, do you think it's 100% they're going to want to get in your network marketing company?
No, not likely.
Not likely. But what if you talk to them and you inquire as to if they have a marketing system? Do you think there's a chance you might catch their attention with PLS?
Oh, most definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. See, and that is the real ticket here, is that the picks and shovels are what you've got to offer anybody out there. So even though I had a pop up here, hang on one second, get that down. Even though they may not want to get with you in your network marketing company, you have a tool that they can use. And let me just say this now. We've got a great system because you can join as a customer. You don't have to be an affiliate, but you can also join as an affiliate. Now, Barry, I'm going to switch it back over to you real quick. You are both a customer. You're using it as a tool with your network marketing company, but you're also an affiliate. Now, what made you say, hey, I want to also be an affiliate and not just a customer?
Well, one is the additional training that came along with being an affiliate, the endless free leads training, and the other incentives that are also along with that. I mean, that's a deal in itself. But the opportunity to be able to share with others, other people that are trying to brand themselves online as well. Like you said, this is the picks and shovels. I mean, this is an all-in-one tool. I mean, you have your contact management system, and you have your lead capture pages, everything without having to get all of these products, individual and then try to link them together with codes and this and that. It's something that every online marketer can use, no matter what they're in, whether they're selling jewelry, candles, or selling their own homemade products, or like you said, have a restaurant. It's totally diverse. It's a great product.
And so, Barry, by being an affiliate, though, you also, when you began to, let's say you offer PLS to somebody you bring into your network marketing company, then you're going to make a little affiliate commission off that. That's not a bad deal, is it?
Oh, it's not. It's like double dipping.
Yeah, there you go. And I'll tell you what else is great about doing that, Barry. When you do that and you help somebody have a system that helps bring people into your business and it pays them a little bit, that little bit that it makes can pay for that auto ship that it's going to take for them to stay active in your network marketing company. Now, is that good or good? What do you think?
Good or good. That's great.
That absolutely is great. Now, there's one more thing that I want to bring up that is an advantage of being an affiliate, and that is, remember what I started off saying was that people weren't really looking for products or services. They're looking for a leader. Well, there's leaders in network marketing, and there's leaders in the picks and shovels business. I consider myself to be a leader in the picks and shovels business called Power Lead System. And Barry is a leader too, because he's already learning about branding. And when anybody asks him, wow, Barry, I don't know where to start, Barry's going to say, well, one of the first places you start is by beginning to look at how you brand yourself. Now, Barry, let me ask you, do you think you're going to have some paths you could lead them down now that I've led you down that?
Oh, definitely, of course. Before working with you, I would have still just been Barry. I wouldn't have had a tagline. So now that you've opened up through conversation, you've opened up my eyes now and that thought process. So now it's possibilities are endless. You just have to really focus in and narrow down. And I think now through the experience with you, I'd be able to have a conversation with somebody and help them come up with a brand for them as well.
And here's what begins to happen. As you do that, Barry, you speak with authority. You speak with confidence. And when you do that, people are attracted to you. They're like, what else do you know, Barry? And you go, well, and you haven't even less at that point. You're just like sharing with them about branding or something. And when they ask you, well, what else you got in that tool bag? You say, well, I actually have a great marketing system. And then you stop. Yeah, you literally stop. And guess what? They're going to say, well, could you tell me more about it? You don't have to just like tell them everything you know about the marketing system in one breath. So when you say you have a marketing system, you stop. And if they ask about it, say, well, by the way, do you have a marketing system? It's an exchange. So this is extremely important. Now, here's the thing back about being a leader. When you have the custom system with PLS, and when you also are an affiliate, you can begin to brand yourself as a leader in PLS, all right? And what I mean by that doesn't mean you brand yourself as PLS, okay? It means you brand yourself as a marketer, just like Barry's doing, the millennial guy here. You're able to use that, and you're able to create funnels with share codes, and when you utilize that share code, it positions you as a leader. I mean, I hope that if anybody is not using our share code right now for our Tuesday night hangouts, that you will. And here's why. I want to hit the 300 mark at least. Tonight we were at 281. And again, what does that mean? That means you go inside your system, you go under account, and you utilize the share code, all right? And you put it in there. Now, we've done this several times before, but let me just do this, okay? Let me just go over here real quick and show everybody where you would go if you wanted to come in here and use this share code, okay? So since we want to set a record here, with our people using it, let me just move this around a little bit. Get back over here. Okay, I'm going to go right here. I want to make sure I've got this up. I'll just go entire screen. Okay, can you see my screen, Barry?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to log in here, okay? I've logged into my system. And what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to go down here and click on my sharing codes. And you're going to see, oh, there's 4 more since I put it in the Facebook tonight. Because what I do every Tuesday is I go in there and I say, hey, you can come to this link and just view it. But if you want to utilize the share code and set up your own link so that you can invite people, you can. So if you're visiting tonight, somebody probably gave you the share code because they don't want you signing up with somebody else, quite frankly. So when you go to my sharing codes right there, you would go in your own system and you would put that sharing code in right there and you would click submit. All right? Now, I can't share it with myself here, but what you would do is once you submitted it, you would go over here and you would go under websites and you would come over and under subdomains and manage subdomains. I'm going to do a test one, but let's say I was going to put it testing for PLS. Okay, let's just say that was my subdomain. And by the way, subdomain means that the www is not here. The subdomain, whatever you give it, replaces the www. That's why they're reminding you, never use a www in front of your subdomain. And that might sound ridiculous for somebody who knows that's not true, but for somebody new, they might not know that. They might say, oh my goodness, do I put www, dot testing PLS? No, you don't. So let's just take that off. And then what you do, now you can see I've got lots and lots of domain names. But in PLS, the first thing I do is I have somebody get this, withcoachbforme.com. Because that way I could make a subdomain and I could go success. And then I could go with Coach B, you see, or I could say join with Coach B, and I could set up that domain name, all right? Now, Barry, what was the first thing I did with you?
Had me create a domain that says with Barry Tuck.
There you go. Because, he wasn't calling himself coach. I still call myself coach because I coached women's basketball at the University of Kentucky years ago. So I'm still known as Coach B. I tell people I just ride a different vehicle now. I no longer ride the vehicle of coaching basketball. But that's where I learned how to, dip into my tool bag and say, hey, I'm still a coach. I've never quit coaching. So he got with Barry Tuck. So you could get, I did one with somebody yesterday, and it was with Cheryl B. It was Cheryl Bassett, and she just used B from her last name. But the bottom line is, if you only had that one domain, you could create an unlimited number of subdomains within PowerLead system, unlimited, without paying $1 more than $30 a month. Now, folks, that's amazing, because what we can do now, we didn't have Hangouts. I used to have to get GoToMeeting and pay for that, and run trainings and all. Now I can just go get a Hangout, set it up in a special page inside PLS, and just like you're on right now, and we're good to go. So anyway, the bottom line is you would create that with that. Oh, it's telling me it's already in use. Well, so I'm not, and that's a good thing, isn't it, Barry? It tells me, look, you're already using it. Don't override it. So I'll go back to what I was doing, testing PLS. So right there, I'm doing that, and I'll just let it be that. And I create it. So now it tells me, do I want to click here to use an existing page? Well, if I were going to hook up my training for Tuesday night, I would say yes. Click here. And what would happen then is, because you had submitted it, right up here where it says self funnels created for you, you would be able to come up here and find my training page, click on it, okay? That's not it, but you would click on it and you would just save your choice. Does that make sense to you, Barry?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I just wanted to take you through that real quickly and show you how that would work because it's so simple. So again, when you're able to create something and then use a share code, you begin to establish yourself as a leader, and that's extremely important in your branding. Okay, I offer this for people because Neil asked me to. He didn't say, "Hey, Dottie, I'm going to pay you." He just said, "Will you do it?" And I said, "Sure, I want to support the whole community because I love Power Lead System and what it offers us for such a reasonable price. And the more I can do things to help Neil because he helps me." And the point of that is this is what I call a pay it forward business. I mean, Barry, now that you know about branding, what are you going to be able to do for people?
I'm going to be able to help them brand themselves as well.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned earlier, come up with a tagline.
And that's what we call the pay it forward business. There's
Right.
an old saying, Barry, that if you help people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And I believe that. I've seen it be true time after time after time. So, Barry, I would really recommend that you go out and do that. So let me ask you, Barry, let's get back on you and the millennials. What ideas are now percolating in your head about how you can brand yourself, how you can niche yourself, and what you're doing?
Oh, well, that can stump me a little bit, Dottie, when you bring it up. It kind of goes back to when we first started talking about branding. Well, what do I do? I can start off with identifying somebody with a need, someone that is looking for opportunity through conversation. That's one thing that I've learned to do. With like the training that's in our back offices. Don't throw your business opportunity out there unless it's invited. You talk to someone, identify a need, and if you have something that can help that person, then you bring it up. And then from there, I'll be able to start with the branding of that person. If someone needs help with like tools with Power Lead System, I'm pretty familiar with that, so I could even help them with that. That does position myself as a leader even more.
So let me ask you this. I like putting you on the spot because we all get put on the spot, and our ability to think in the moment is very important. You did a great job there, Barry. Very good response. Let me give you a few nudges here. Let me ask you some questions, okay? So I'm going to put it back on you now. I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right.
Where you live, are there any colleges around you?
Yes, there's about 3.
Okay, 3. Are there any continuing education courses around there?
I'm pretty sure with like the community colleges, yes. The smaller campuses.
Okay. Have you ever heard of meetup groups?
I have not.
Okay. I want you to Google meetup groups when we get off of here and anybody else. And while we're talking about this, if you've heard of meetup groups, I want people to put in the chat box down there that you've heard of meetup groups, okay? A meetup group is something that you can set up in your local area, and you set it up and then you meet. And what a novel idea, huh? But what I want you to think about is this. What if you took that branding now and you went to the marketing department of each of the colleges and you said to them, "Hi, I'm Barry Tuck. I'm a millennial online trainer." Yeah. Would you be interested in having me come and speak to your class and show them how to set up Google Hangouts or the importance of branding themselves? Well, what do you think they might say?
They'd probably be up for that. I mean, I don't know. I've never taken a marketing class in college. Do they go over Google Hangouts? And well, I guess they would go over branding if that's.
Well, they better be. That's the point. If they're not, then you're even more in demand. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, or you could just offer a continuing education course, and most of them charge a fee. You could make some money, or you could offer it for free. And then guess what? If they wanted more, you could tell them about Power Lead System and create some business. Or you could get a meetup group going. You see, it's just unlimited, Barry, what you can do. But what we have to do is begin to use our brains. And I know you've got a great one, Barry. So all I want to do is put something out there that makes you go, wow, I hadn't thought about that. I'll tell you an
Mhm.
example. I was on a coaching call today uh, with a group of us who are certified trainers, and I was sharing that I'm going up to a BNI meeting in the morning in Canada. And you might think, wow, you're going all the way to Canada for a BNI meeting? That's the Business Network International, and that's a paid group that people get with. I'm not a paid member, but my friend is and invited me up to the breakfast. Now, I got to tell you, I got to get up about 5 o'clock because it's an early breakfast meeting, and I'm not far from Canada, but it's going to take me a little while to get to Vancouver. It's about 45 minutes. So the bottom line, though, is when we were on this coaching call, I was talking about, they give you 35 seconds to kind of, do an elevator speech. And I was talking about what I might share. And this was a nugget that was given to me. Phil Lecter said to me, Dottie, when you get up, tell everybody that you've got a seminar planned coming up, and that you'll give anybody who's a part of BNI a $25 discount for your seminar. And he said, if you even get, 3 to 5 people at that first seminar you do, and then you tell them, look, we're going to have another seminar in 3 weeks, and if you go out and bring some people in, I'll give you $25 back for every person you bring in. Barry, you think some people might go out there and get some people for that next one?
Oh, most definitely. People love an incentive.
Yeah, everybody loves an incentive. So think about that. So that just made me go, wow. I was getting ready to go up there and just do a regular, sort of 35-second spiel, so to speak. But I can really tell them, hey, I've got something. You want it? Come give me your business card. I'll make sure that I get you the information, and I don't even have it set up yet. How cool is that? Is that great or what?
It's a great idea, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't even have to give a specific date. You can say, I've got a seminar coming up real soon. It's going to be for a small select group, and why don't you give me your business cards, and I'll get in touch with you, give you the date, the details, everything about it, and then guess what? According to how many people give me their business card saying they want to pay to come to this particular training I'm going to do, that's going to tell me how big a place I need, right? I mean, is that great or
Definitely.
what?
That's thinking smart.
Yeah, I love that. So, see, here's the thing. Everybody who's a coach should always want to be coached. That's the truth. Because all of us have to stay open. I don't know it all. Barry, you don't know it all, do you?
No, man, I do not.
Well, I'm quite certain I don't. And like I said, I'll be 62 next birthday, and I don't know it all. I have this plaque that hangs on my wall right in there. It says Ankara Imparo. Do you know what that means, Barry?
I do not.
Okay. Well, here's another little gold nugget from Coach B tonight. That means I am still learning. Okay? And Michelangelo spoke that in his 87th year, okay, after painting the Sistine Chapel. Now, if Michelangelo can learn a few things every day, I believe I can. So I keep that in mind. My goal is to learn something new every single day till the day I take my last breath. So I would encourage everybody out there listening tonight to do this. So here's what we've really been talking about. I want to let me just do a little time check here. Oh, we're about a quarter till. So we want to wind it up. But Barry, let me ask you anything else that you could share with people about what you've learned as you're going through this process, whether it's about branding yourself and the research you're having to do, or whether it's about Power Lead System and how you're using it for your business. Share anything you want to with us right now.
Well, one thing I've learned is there's never going to be a one fix all. Like there's not going to be one book that you can read to learn it all. There's not going to be one video or even one Google Hangout where you can learn it all to be the best. Like you just mentioned, you're constantly going to be learning, and if you're not ready to dig into books and educate yourself and just stay in touch with the marketing community, then branding yourself and being a permanent leader is not gonna work for you. The the Power Lead system, though, the lead capture pages have been a great help. Because you can only talk to so many people at one time. You can only be available in so many places at one time. But that leverages you so much. You can have when people opt into your lead capture pages, and you can have an auto-responding email talking to 25 people while you're sleeping at night. That really helps leverage you so much. And I love the PLS systems for that. When I first joined PLS, I didn't know what to do. Like you mentioned before, like when you first buy a car, you don't know how to set the cruise control, you don't know how to change the radio, you don't know all of this stuff, but you learn it little by little, and so just take it in little strides, and you'll be impressed, and stay in touch with the Google Hangouts, and you'll learn so much with PLS.
Oh, Barry, you offered some nuggets there, I got to tell you. And here's what impresses me about you, Barry. Not only do you really work hard and you're attentive, when I ask you to do something, you come back and you have it done, you give feedback, but you're going to do extremely well. And one of the things I want to remind people is if I reach out and say, hey, would you like to be on a Hangout? Take advantage of that. That's a great opportunity. And I want to say to anybody who is on this Hangout right now, if you would like to be on a Hangout in the future, please let me know. I ask this all the time, and you know how few people say, I want to be on one of your Hangouts? You know why they do that, Barry? Because they're scared. Now, did you feel a little bit, fearful tonight?
I did a little, maybe more than a little bit, but I also knew that I wanted to achieve greatness so bad that I'm willing to put myself out of that comfort zone. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable to make any achievements. And,
oh my goodness, Barry, you're not kidding.
And it's just been it was nice that that I got to work with my mentor, Coach B, yourself. That made it a little more comforting that I'd be okay. I'm taken care of here.
Yeah.
And it was great that you helped me take that initiative, put that first foot in the water, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Yeah, I was beating myself up more than I needed to.
Wow, isn't that what we offer? I'm going to tell you a little secret here.
Okay.
What'd you say, Barry?
Oh, I was just saying, okay, go ahead with the secret.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Do you know that every time before I start a Hangout, I feel scared too? I mean, that's just the truth. But that's a good kind of scaredness, because it's kind of like when you're an athlete. Right before the game starts, you kind of got to have a little bit of the good anxiety, not the over the top that impacts your your abilities in a negative way. Mm-hmm. But if you're not a little bit on edge, you're going to come off flat. So I've come to recognize over the year that little butterfly that I feel, that's a good thing. So I really want to acknowledge you for coming on here, and I want to encourage and invite other people. You can either put in the the chat box down there. I'll go in there and look after this Hangout's over. Hey, I want to be on a Hangout. And again, it's not about who's on my PLS team. This is anybody who is listening. If you're in Power Lead System, please contact me either in our Facebook group, private message me, however you get in touch with me, put a message down there. Let me know, hey, I'm interested. And, it's really so important, some of the things you've said, Barry, about leveraging. And here's my daily motto, besides Ankaro and Paro. And I've been saying this basically for 7 years, because I was sitting here in a really small town in Blaine, Washington, and I didn't have any more people to connect with about my business that I was doing at the time. And this is it. I want to connect. I want to engage. I want to innovate. I want to collaborate. I want to leverage our unique collective talents globally to form synergistic partnerships. And that's what I do every single day. And I do it all over the world. And talk about learning new things, Barry. Interestingly enough, I've always been the picks and shovel person, coaching, training, you name it. I'm certified in, T. Harv Eckert, train the trainer, Shed Helmstetter, best technology. I got 3 different certifications in coaching, and I love Power Lead System. People contact me all the time to beta test their software, their systems, and all like that. I've been in direct sales, but I'm now doing my first MLM ever. Doesn't it just show you that you can teach an old dog new tricks? So I'm excited about it because I like building globally, and that's what the chance it's given me to do. So it's great for all of us, Barry, and I appreciate you being on here. Now, before we leave, I do want to remind people that if you look right down below there, there's a thing that says a 7-day free trial. Barry, do you think why would that be worthwhile for somebody to get a 7-day free trial?
Well, they get to test the waters. It's like you don't go just buy a vehicle at a dealership. You go take it for a test drive to see if it's something that you're interested in. So this allows you for 7 days at no charge to build lead capture pages, see how the autoresponders work, and see what you can do with this product. And if you like it after the 7 days, become a customer. If you want to share it with others, then become an affiliate.
Excellent, Barry. And, let's think about it. If you go and drive a car and you don't like how it drives, you're not stuck with it because you took a test, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And so the same way with Power Lead System, you don't have anything to lose. You have everything to gain. And so that's what's so great about it. So get in there, take that 7-day trial, test drive it. And here's another key thing. For those 7 days, even if you decide you want to drop back to the free system, okay, and the free system, just so you'll know, you pass up every other lead. In Power Lead System, you keep every single lead you bring in. So for 7 days, you can go at it like crazy, keep every lead you got, even if you drop back to the free one. But I'm going to tell you, if you get in there and really work with this for 7 days, you will not give it up. You'll say, this is the best deal since sliced bread, and you'll keep it. I promise you that. So thank you, Barry, for being a guest on the PLS Gold Nugget Hangout tonight, and I'm going to have you back. I mean, I love having people on here with me, and we'll do it again. Is that a good deal?
Sounds great to me, Dottie. Yes.
Okay. Well, listen, everybody, I want to thank you for taking your time because I know it's valuable and that you chose to spend it with Barry and myself, whether that's live right now or via a recorded hangout. One of the things I say about live hangouts is that as soon as this is over, it becomes an evergreen recorded YouTube video. Evergreen means it's just there unless I was to delete it. I'm not going to delete this. I had Barry tucked on there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Barry, so much. And we look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday evening. Bye for now.